Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another episode of the Canadian Talk podcast. Today we are here bringing you episode 57, and it's going to be a good one today. Let's start us off with the dad jokes. Okay. Somebody stole all my lamps. I couldn't be more delighted. Why are there no knock-knock jokes about America? Because freedom rings. Freedom rings. I don't know if I understand that one. I'd tell you a joke about beds, but it hasn't been made up yet. Who is the strongest thief? A shoplifter. Oh god, I liked all those. Today was a good set of them. Holy shit. Okay, welcome back to the show, everybody. This is Canadian Talk, episode 57. Today we don't have a lot to talk about, but we're going to see what bubbles to the surface. I can tell you I'm happy to be back. It's been a little bit of a hiatus. I've been doing some traveling, kind of like trying to get my life together, if I'm being honest. Like, I recently am in the process of, well, not recently. I'm like, it happened 2 years ago, basically. But it's taken me that long to, like, get semi-okay. So, like, basically I had a relationship that I was in for, like, 7-8 years or whatever, and if you count the 2-year transitionary period where we were basically semi-broken up or whatever, it's just, I'm finally at a place where I think that, like, she might be letting me live my life. I don't know. But, I've been doing a little bit of traveling, just trying to get my head straight, my head together. And I think I've gotten there now. So, like, what I've done is I went snowboarding. I went to Revelstoke, which is a mountain here in Canada, and I went snowboarding with a friend, and then right as the morning that we were leaving, the producer of this podcast, at least the old producer, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with Sanvi, Mr. Producer Man, he crashed my vehicle. So, right as I was leaving for this Revelstoke trip, which happens to be about 15, 16 hours away from where I live, a little less. And I drove the whole trip, and right as I was leaving, he's like, "Hey, can I come?" And I was like, "Sure." And he came, and no real problems, except he was like, "Oh, I can't drive." And so then I didn't make him drive the whole trip, didn't make him pay for his hotel, didn't make him, like, I did it like what an employer would do. And then on the way home, we were almost home. We were about an hour away at a place called Rosetown here in Saskatchewan, and he just decided to drive the vehicle into the ditch. So we're at each other's throats right now. That's what's happening there. So we'll see if he wants to still be a part of this or not. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because we are working our way through March here. It's almost summer. The weather's getting nice. I have a couple of really exciting guests coming on in the next couple episodes, which I'm super excited about. Like, I've never had somebody say no to me to be a guest, which is amazing. Like, I should maybe shoot my sights a little, not that there's levels, but, like, I could shoot my sights a little higher and, like, fucking invite somebody. Like, I went to the Bert Kreischer comedy show as well, and I didn't go to see him after the show, and I kind of regret that a little bit. I maybe should have, and even before he came to Saskatoon, I should have been like, "Hey, man, I'm the only comedy podcast in this province. Would you like to come on my podcast?" But I just didn't get around to it. But next year, he says he's coming back. So Bert Kreischer, I'm going to send this to your fucking email to, who's your producer, Halston? I'm going to send this to him. Halston, get Bert to come on my podcast in 2024, please and thank you, when Trump is the new president. So, yeah, hopefully maybe I can get some bigger guests on, but like I said, I've got some good ones coming up. So for next episode, episode 58, there is going to be a musician named Jamie Playford. He's He's a folksy, real deep soul type country singer. Amazing. Reminds me a lot, to be honest, it reminds me a lot of Larry Fleet. Yeah, so, man, I'm really going heavy on the ums today. You can tell that I'm back from a break with all these fucking ums and ahs. But yeah, thank you for your patience. Okay, so, yeah, so coming at you right now is the one and only comedy podcast here in the province of Saskatchewan. We try to do you all proud by actually being authentically funny, not being annoying, and on and on and on. A little bit about me. I'm just a Saskatchewan boy, British of course. So I colonized this country. So not half of you. I don't know if half of this country is Native American, but whatever, 20% or however many Native Americans are, they probably all hate me. So, because I love the Queen. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, we're here at 10:30 a.m. drinking beers like we like to do. Actually, there's a timestamp on this camera, I think. So maybe I should be more accurate. I don't know if I have the time set on it, but I think it's actually like 11, not 10:30. So, let's see what we got on the list here for a new day of hangouts. Also, let me play a little bit of this because I haven't done this in forever, but I'll bet you it's gonna suck. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to Canadian Talk, and here's a little riff for you. So to a real talented musician or harmonica player, that probably just sounds like stupid random scaling. And to be honest with you, it is. I don't know. I'm just doing my best to play the damn thing. I don't get lessons. I'm a good golfer and I've never gotten lessons, so that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the harmonica, as well as public speaking, as you can see. But I'm sure the number one rule to public speaking is, hey, don't drink beer while you speak, or it will hurt your ethos to the audience, or whatever the fuck they might say. Who knows? Yeah, thanks to Great Western for their delicious beer fueling the podcast today, as well as if you are still tuned in, which typically you're not. Most of my viewers click off by about 5 minutes. So, but anyway, if you need a sauna or a shed or any type of furniture, contact the website Stephanjackson.ca, and we call it Stephan's Saunas and Sheds. So I basically make sauna rooms and sheds. Like that's a new thing I'm starting because I can sell them for a little bit more. I'm not sure what the price point will be yet. Probably just a few thousand for an insulated shed, or an insulated shed that has the capacity of being humidity controlled for it to be a sauna or a steam room. And but the main thing I sell is furniture. So of course, just go to the website, shoot me an email, or you can find me on Facebook Marketplace with all my furniture that I build. I make like kitchen islands and all kinds of shit like that. And yeah, and you can get them for quite cheap. So there's an ad for you. So yeah, thank you Great Western. Thank you Stephan's Saunas and Sheds, which is of course that's me. So what else is going on here in the world, folks? Let's pop to the list and let's see if we can just unpack this world here. A couple of things that are shooting across my mind right off the bat is I watched that hearing for Trudeau explaining his use of the Emergencies Act and all that kind of stuff that he did during the truckers' protest, and I was like pretty stunned at how easy it is for a politician to just basically explain away actions like that. It really made me sad. Like this is nothing against the interviewers or the people who were trying to prosecute him or get him to slip up and bring him to justice in some sort of a way, but for calling the country by which he presides racist, So they did a good job. They tried their best and they were aggressive with him, and so kudos to all you people who tried, but It definitely wasn't a success. Yeah, so I watched that hearing, and I don't even remember what it was called. It was just a committee hearing to explain the use of the Emergencies Act. So, yeah, so other than that, we're at the list, but some more things we got going on in the Canadian Talk universe is, so we got Jamie coming on next episode. We got Alex the race car driver coming on very soon. A few others. We have hopefully a great comedian coming from the east of Canada. He's a risk taker. He's a real, what I'd call an outlaw. And you know what? There's a bunch of reasons I like him. First, I saw, and his name is Ben Bankus. First off, I saw, and that's BenBank, like bank, and then ass, A-S. And yeah. It's funny is he's Jewish, and his name is Bank Ass. Like he's like a banking asshole, like what a lot of people think Jewish people are. Or lawyer assholes, but that's his actual name. So, he is a funny comedian. So, like I said, I found him by his special on YouTube, which is just incredible. It's called Please Wear Your Mask, something like that. Super good. And then I did some research on him, and I realized that he is joining forces with a guy who's actually been on this show, Daniel Boardman, from, I believe it was episode 8 or 12 or something like that, like pretty early. Like 2 years ago, I interviewed Daniel Boardman, back when he was a political pundit. And Daniel was also always a comedian and a political pundit back then. And but then I think that he got into a little lawsuit because like he got a little bit too greasy, like with some of the things he was talking about to do with some politicians and stuff. And he got sued for libel, of course, for like millions of dollars. So I believe that he had to slow down or stop on the whole pundit political commentary thing, but still a hilarious guy, Daniel Boardman. So go check out his page if you can. I'm sure you can Google him or just look him up on Facebook, or I think he's most active on Facebook. So so they teamed up. Apparently they both live over there, like by Toronto area, and I guess Ben and Daniel teamed up, and they're like a comedy duo now, and they're making skits, and it's freaking hilarious. They have these skits about where Ben is pretending to run for mayor of Toronto, and they're like, and then Daniel's like off to the side, like he's like his little minion type guy, and he's just, they are so funny together. So yeah, if you like good comedy, go check out Ben Bankus' page. His page is actually at Ben Bankus 2, because he says that his first one got deleted. Because, well, he does do a lot of racial humor, and he does like impressions of Asian people and Theresa Tam, and he makes fun of Trudeau and all that kind of stuff. So those are the types of things that will get you banned from social media for sure. But yeah, he's a real funny character. Both of them are. So, and Ben. So here we go. So Ben is hopefully going to be coming on the podcast when he comes through the city here early April. It's like the first week of April. So we're going to see if we can get him into the studio here for you guys, because I love you. And I love him. And all I want to do is just get some funny-ass people on here so that I can continue to bring happiness to everybody out there through the lovely channel of comedy. Tybalt is here, but I got her out of the studio today. I wanted to make sure I stay focused and get some words down on this mic here, because I've been out for what feels like a month. Oh, but when I was in Revelstoke, though, let me tell you a couple of the things that have also caused the delay in actual episodes. Is when I was in Revelstoke, we did record a podcast from our hotel, me and Piderman the Wilder Man. He's from episode 6 and I think 12 or 13 as well. He's been on the show twice. We recorded an episode, but we happened to be, what I would say, just probably a little bit too intoxicated in the hotel room. And one of the mics cut out halfway through, and it was his mic, not mine. So I felt bad, and I was like, I can't publish this. Like, even though everybody was fine with it, I was like, God damn, this is like, we're too intoxicated. This isn't really a poignant conversation. These are just dudes. What we tried to do was we were watching a classic movie, Happy Gilmore, in the hotel, and we were just kind of sitting there watching it and talking while we were watching it, and yeah, it really turned out to be a boring episode. Yeah, speak of the devil, I've been getting into chess a lot lately, and right now we're playing a chess game, and he just did his move, the same guy on my phone here as I can see. So, but yeah, so I'm not going to publish that episode, so that was why there was a gap and there was none last week, because I didn't really feel like recording another one. To be honest, like I said, I've just been chilling and trying to get over women and trying to meet new women, and fuck, it can be kind of crazy, man. Online dating is quite something. Like, the women on there are just like so picky, I guess. Like, basically, like, I had one. What did I have one do to me? There was one that we were talking, and then there was one I was talking because I had an old picture on one of my social medias of like a girl. She's like, "Oh, is that your girlfriend? Then we can't hang out." Like, pictures of exes is a red flag, and then she's like, "We can't hang out." And then another one, I went on a date with this one girl. Okay, here we go. So I went on this date with this one girl. We'll just say her name rhymes with her name. I'll just not say her last name, and then I think we're fine. Her name was Shalene. And we go out on the date, and she looks totally normal from pictures and stuff. And we get there, and I find out that she's blind in one of her eyes, so she's basically blind, can barely see out of the other eye, so she's blind. And she can't hear, because one of her ears, like, doesn't work. So I basically went on a date with a blind and deaf girl, and then she rejected me. But the crazy part is you wonder, how can a girl who's 26 be blind and deaf? Like, I was asking her, right? I didn't ask her, hey, why are you blind and deaf? But I was asking her about herself. And her dad is a minister at a church, the United Church. And so basically that kind of points to probable inbreeding is what my guess is. So, yeah, folks. So I went on a date with a girl who was inbred. And then, what else? What other girls? I also got rejected by an Asian girl who was... She said, okay, we basically, we exchanged numbers, we were talking a little bit, and then she goes, "You're not a good conversationalist, even though I am a professional long-form conversationalist." And she's like, "You're not good at conversation," and she hadn't been messaging me at all. And I was like, "Okay, wait, you don't want to come over and hang out because I'm not a good conversationalist. Do you realize that you didn't say anything either? Like, what the fuck? How can you?" That's what they call the pot calling the kettle black, I think. So, okay, we're halfway through the pod here. Let's jump into a couple more dad jokes. Did you hear about the granny who plugged her electric blanket into the toaster by mistake? She spent the night popping out of bed. Okay, that one sucks dick. That one seriously sucks dick. What kind of photos do teeth take? Toothpicks. The shovel was a groundbreaking invention. My grandfather has the heart of a lion and the lifetime ban at the zoo. How do you make a bandstand take away their chairs? Oh, here we go. Speaking of girls and that kind of shit. My ex misses me, but her aim is improving. Oh, that makes sense. Why did the man throw the clock out the window? Because he heard time flies. I've heard that one about 1,000,000 fucking times. Okay, that's some more dad jokes for you folks. Okay, so let's see what's going on in current events. Okay, basically I saw this, let's just talk about some viral videos. I saw this thing the other day. It was a viral photo, like this is the state of the world, in my opinion, and it's just crazy. This is the state of gender relations, basically. This is an example of it. Viral was a short video. So basically there was a dolled up blonde girl, and apparently her name was... Liv Morgan. Just some dolled up blonde girl. She was sitting in the audience at a Knicks game with maybe a guy who was trying to court her, or maybe he was her manager, or maybe he was her husband, or they were just on a date, like courting, what obviously going in circles here. And the viral video was, he was talking to her, he was like, and she was just like giving this fake, basically just like kind of ignoring him and just gassing him up, if you will, like just kind of like ignoring him and pretending like she's listening, just being a total fucking thought trap. Like whatever, you know, if you know what those words mean, those are lingo. This is the new kid lingo on what we call basically bad ladies, bad potential life partners. So that's what she was doing, and she went viral because she was sitting there ignoring her man. Or I should probably have looked into it more to see if that was actually her husband, because if she was treating her real boyfriend or husband like that, man, that's so sad. And the fact that the world loves that right now, like that she can just treat her person like that, her opposite gender like that, and that people think it's funny for her to be so disrespectful, it really pisses me off. I miss the days where women had high respect for men because theoretically, I mean, we theoretically lived more laborious lives and harder lives because we had to fight and go to war, and we waited on them hand and foot, and then they would respect us greatly for that. You know, I miss those days with women, but not to say I'm a traditionalist, right? I'm not. I'm just saying that there is some part of me that some conservative part of me that does miss that. So, because yeah, the state of the world today is girls want to have sex with as many people as they can, and they just do it, and they don't think they're doing any damage because they can just lie. The thing is, though, is I don't think what girls realize is that good men can kind of tell when you're not like a girl who values, not a girl who's not smart enough to see or comprehend the importance and value of what they have to give, what you have to give. You know, there's a reason that like they call women flowers. There's a reason that they call, because they don't last long. They can wilt. They can get wrecked by the wind. And like another example I thought of the other day was like, women live a reproductive cycle, a reproductive life. So if you're going to define a person's length of life by their reproductive health or a capability, women have 50 years max, mostly less. Women have like 100 years, or sorry, men have 100 years max, which is literally double. So for that reason, I can understand, you know, women's struggle and why they might want to get out there and start swinging the bat. No pun intended, but like, you know, that is just, it's just, that's unfair for women that they have such a short reproductive life. And but my point is that short, only getting that one, maybe two attempts at having a child or forming a relationship with a man that he can protect you forever and open your jars forever, or whatever the fuck you want from a man as a woman. Okay, whatever you want. I'm not saying any of it's bad, sure. If you want that, then you have half the amount of time that we have to swing that bat, you know? So you shouldn't take it for granted. You shouldn't be like, again, I'm sitting here mansplaining what a woman should do with her reproductive life, but I'm just saying, like, men see that, and they care about that basically as much as they care about appearance. And women sure do think that men care about appearance, so that says something about how much they care about your purity, if you will, if you want to call it that, or just your value in evaluating men. Like, because if you're doing it with a lot of men and then you're like, oh, I don't want to spend my life with that man, how can somebody evaluate you as not having bad judgment? Like, there's just no other way to evaluate you other than to say, okay, you must take risks, like risks that are not smart risks, and they don't have any payoff, they're just sex. You take risks, so you're dangerous to be around. You potentially aren't faithful. You can't properly evaluate men's character. So how am I supposed to feel good by being your boyfriend? Because you picked me. If you've just picked lots of men, it's like, oh, I'm just the next one that happened to fall into your lap. I'm not special. So I think that's part of what men think. Like, by the way, this isn't me. I'm just narrating in my interpretation of what I believe men are thinking because I'm a man. So this is the best I can do. I believe I can tap into other people's mindsets sometimes pretty well without giving away what I am, because I like to think I've got my toes in all of it, you know? So, okay, so let's have some more of this beer here and let's check my list again. So that's what I have to say about the state of gender right now and that most recent viral video by Liv Morgan at the Knicks game. God. And we'll thank Great Western once again for this delicious beer. Okay, and moving on. So this is a premise that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately. It's like, I don't know if you've been, another thing that's trending is the guy named Alex Murda, and he is a lawyer, a pretty high ranking lawyer. I think he was on his way to being a judge. Had a lovely family, lived in the South of America, one of the redneck states, one of them, and he basically where I think it's funny, because it's never funny when a dude kills his own son, and I believe he killed his wife too, but he has 2 sons. And basically the premise of the joke is what a coincidence that your name is Murda, and your life ends up being ruined or centered around you committing a murder. Like, that's such a coincidence. It's like your last name being like I guess Gary Player is, and he's a golf player, but there's so many. It's like I saw a native on TV once, a Native American indigenous person here, and the craziest last name I ever saw, his last name was Canna Potato, and that's like if he actually sold potatoes, or he was the guy who put them into cans. That's how much of a coincidence that would be. But it's less of a coincidence for Native Americans, because that's what they do. They name their people. The last names are named after what they do. Bear hunter, moose hunter. So still, though, you get my point. It's very, very coincidental. And also, if you're going to kill one of your sons, why kill the one named Paul? Like, you named one of your sons Buster? Like, what the fuck kind of a name is that? That's just a stupid name. So, anyway, you chose the wrong son to kill Alex Murda, and your name is also very unfortunate. It's probably why you got prosecuted. If your last name was Peace, you probably would have been exonerated. Okay, everybody. Well, we're going to cut this one short because I do have a guest coming to the studio today. He's going to be here right away, and so I've got to conduct an interview, so I better start getting ready for that. So, I want to thank you for tuning in to episode 57. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it is a little short. I hope everybody's lives out there is going good. Let me see if I have a little bit of advice to end the episode, some sort of a monologue that comes to mind to give you guys all inspiration. If you're at a tough place in life, if you are depressed because maybe you've been with a girl for almost a decade and she leaves you, or maybe your kid thinks you're a pussy, maybe he doesn't have respect for you, maybe you have a 10-year-old kid and you're like 28, you had a kid early, and he doesn't realize your child doesn't realize that you're a young father, so they don't have respect for you because you're not rich enough, or you work at a fucking gas station because you got to make ends meet for that kid and they don't understand yet the way of the world. Just keep your chin up. Just realize that that's not your fault. That one day they will realize that kid, whether it be after you die, your children will love you. And when it comes to women, if you're losing a woman that you really loved, maybe she got murdered, maybe she didn't break up with you. Either way, it's something that you can get past. It's just people. These are people. I'm not saying there isn't intrinsic and huge value and uniquity to people that you may find who love you and you love them. But just there is others. There will always be others. And you don't want to ruin your life over sorrow. Sorrow is meant to take you to the next step. Sorrow is just a doorway, So I want to say that to all of you. I want to thank anybody who's out there and gives me any amount of time of day today to listen to my voice on here. I hope I entertained you. I hope it wasn't cringe for you, or you're like, fuck this guy. I knew this guy. I went to high school with this guy. He's a fucking asshole. I heard he played hockey and he's a liar and he cheated his friends in poker. Well, guess what? You're right. I am an asshole. I'm a cheater and a liar. At least I like to feel I was, but I'm still those things, and every day I try to be less of those things. And I think that we should all try to do that. You don't hate yourself because you were once a thing. You identify that thing and you try to grow and be better. Okay? So I'll do that, you do that, and we're going to reconvene for episode 58, all right, with Jamie, and we're going to watch this awesome dude tell us about his music. And so yeah, that's Canadian Talk episode 57. Out.
Canadian Talk.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.